Came from Seneca Falls, New York. There's a breeder up there. The Red Devons came to America with the Pilgrims, and they're one of the oldest breeds in America. A European breed from Devonshire, England.
It's just a rock, right? Left-handed anger.
Left-handed anger.
So are you enjoying your time here, Mr. Hazen?
Oh yeah. Yeah, we're having a ball.
One, two, three. Shoulder up.
Hey, you guys want to buy something? Come on over. Come on.
Thanks.
So we had a little bit of a long night. The storm rolled through about midnight. Thunder, lightning, really not bad, but enough to keep, I think, just about everybody in camp awake. So with that, everything is pretty wet, so I'm going to see if I can find some dry firewood.
That's where the gunpowder is. We're going to shoot off 4 ounces of gunpowder. This is about the size of an 8-ounce cartridge.
Really quick, I want to take you through our tent setup here for our first outing with my daughter to show you how we set things up and a little bit of why. So this wedge is tall enough that I can stand up inside it. I'm about 6 feet tall, which makes it really handy. If you can get a tent and you can afford it, I bought this one secondhand, but if you can get something that you can stand up in, you're gonna be really comfortable. We'd like to have more kids, so picking up a larger secondhand tent now was really nice, and I gotta say it was really nice for this weekend. This is a pretty standard wedge. It can be used for a variety of periods based on my research and folks who have helped me out. It ties just like this in the front and the back to seal it up at night. And then inside here, we have kind of our on-the-road living situation set up. So just inside the door, I have a period ship's chest that you've seen on the channel my father built. I have this set up to where we can pull it in or out, use it as an extra seat because it is period correct. I wanted it to be kind of in this spot. It makes sense that it can be visible and we don't have to really worry about it. Because it's not just me wanting to suffer. We made a few concessions. There are a few modern amenities, but it makes it easier for us to get out with the entire family. Behind the stool, we have some of my daughter's clothes and her little potty chair for when we can't get out of the tent fast enough. And then at the rear here, we have our bed. And this is an REI Co-op brand air mattress. It's queen sized, so it's similar to what we have at home. It's deflated now as we get ready to pack up. But it's been really comfortable. On top of that, we've got several layers of wool blankets, some period, some not. Because they're in the tent, we're not too worried about it, regardless of how strict the event can be. We've got appropriate blankets to have out invisible. We've got another blanket rolled up as a pillow, and then I have my emergency medical kit back here. As you come in the door of the tent on the left-hand side, then we've got our cooler here set up, and during the day, especially when it's hot, I will cover that up with a wool blanket. We did have to make an ice run. It's an old cooler, but it still works pretty well. I'm not sure the science behind it, but so far putting that wool blanket over it on the hot days has kept the ice cooler than just leaving the cooler exposed to the elements. So that's something to consider. In this corner we have our box of food, just some dry goods that don't need any refrigeration, and then some of my modern clothes. Because we had that storm last night, I wanted to make sure I could easily access clothing quickly, and bringing my Mindel boots that are waterproof can come in handy in case you need to go out in the rain. Then the last thing here is our igloo cooler with drinking water and some of our drinking cups on top. It's on a little folding table. Depending on the event, that's not going to be permissible. It's more of a modern take on folding camp furniture, but it works great for in the tent and keeps the water up off the ground. We can store things underneath. I'm sorry about it not being a Better Homes and Gardens tent, but the first weekend outdoor for my 2-year-old. It's been a lot of fun, and it's worked out really well. I hope this gives you a little bit of insight into how we're living and bringing a toddler to the 18th century. A little tip, we brought an entire box of books and toys for my daughter because we were afraid that she would be bored and cause trouble. She did not touch the box at all. So I think for our next trip, we're going to bring very minimal kid entertainment because the outdoors is just perfect. In our last supply stop before we came out to this event, I grabbed an air mattress patch kit, and it came in handy. The entire weekend, my daughter loved my wife's hat pin in her straw hat. While we were taking care of some dinner, daughter found the hat pin in the tent and immediately took to stabbing our air mattress. Right here we've got 3 little holes. That's not one there. No, there's 4. So I want to patch these up because we're packing up Thursday to head to Martin Station. We'll use the same bed. Our ground cloth and our poly tarp underneath it are a bit damp from last night's rain. Little water in the drop cloth, but it didn't really affect us a whole lot. I'm setting this stuff in the same tent box. We're going to set this tent back up fully when we get home so that it can dry out before Martin's. Pack up time can be contentious. Parking is often limited for setup and tear down. My strategy, since this event ends pretty early in the day, it's just about 3 o'clock now, I don't have a long way to drive. I'm waiting for a couple of the camps in front of me to pull out before I even get my car in here. So that might be something to consider. Oftentimes people will prepare and line up at the gates for events up to an hour or even earlier so they can secure an early get out of Dodge time. So for me, I like to wait around a little bit, get everything packed up, boxed up, so that when I can pull almost right up to the site, load back up, and get on the road. My entire family really had a lot of fun this year at Five Metals. It was great taking the leap from attending and day tripping and hanging out with friends to camping through the entire event. A little rain didn't keep us down, a little cool at night couldn't keep us down. We really had a fantastic time. It was seriously a highlight of this entire year to see my daughter running around and being so welcome at camps, both of people that we knew, of course, and of other people camping that we didn't know. It was a great opportunity for us to meet those living historians and history lovers around us when Caroline would just run into somebody's camp and say hi. It was just a really fantastic family environment and really re-energized, I think, both my wife and I for the upcoming year of events. I'd like to thank the entire Five Metals team for making this event happen. I can't wait for next year. If you're like me and you're a bit of a nervous, new or young parent, I encourage you to get out there and try this. For us, Five Metals is one of these smaller events that we're going to attend this year, and it really worked out well being the first event. It was fairly close to home, so we knew that if something happened, if Caroline got sick or if things just went horribly wrong, we knew that we could go home. And that is really one of the first tips I have for young families out there wanting to get involved in this. Start small. Find a local event where you're not going to be too far from home. It's kind of familiar territory, and get out and try it before you throw everybody in the car and drive 6, 8, 10 hours to a larger event out there. Caroline served as a great icebreaker to folks that we didn't know camping, and it was really fantastic to see her play with adults and kids alike around the camp the entire weekend. It's really something else camping overnight at an event where you are immersed in that environment for multiple days on end. It just simply doesn't compare to a time where you're just coming for the day and leaving when the gates close. That being said, if you aren't ready to commit to an overnight camp, do not be afraid to day trip to some events to scope them out and get a feel for how that event is run and who you might know that will be there when you are ready to attend. We've ping-ponged around Five Metals since Caroline was just born, and it was really great to return as campers, as enthusiasts here, and participate in the event as a whole. If you're interested in this kind of thing, please get out there and do it. You won't be disappointed. Even if it rains, even if you're cold, even if you're hungry, you're going to have a good time and you're going to meet a ton of really incredible people. I've said it a lot, but don't spend your days, don't spend your life watching YouTube. Get out and try some of this stuff. If it looks like something you're going to enjoy, please get out and do it. There's a welcoming community here of folks who want to help you get started and want to see you out at these events. Once again, I'm Ethan. I love muzzleloading. I'm looking forward to Five Metals next year. The event will be at a new location in Napanee, Indiana. We'll have more details in the video description as well as at ilovemuzzleloading.com. Once again, thank you so much for watching. We'll catch you next time.